And now for a documentary on Jimmy Carter with Preston and James.
Jimmy Carter was born on October 1st, 1924. He served as the 39th President of the United States from 1977 to 1981 and received the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002. Carter was the only U.S. president to have received the prize after leaving office. Before his presidency, Carter served 2 terms as a Georgia state senator and 1 as governor from Georgia. From 1971 to 1975, he was a peanut farmer and a naval officer. During 1977 and 1987, the Carter administration fulfilled many of his environmental goals. His initial focus was to reduce the U.S. dependence on foreign oil. Carter was able to achieve this by creating the Department of Energy within the United States government. The Department of Energy was fundamentally in researching and testing alternate energy sources, specifically wind and solar energy. At the time, wind and solar energy were America's newest methods of energy production. In addition, advocates for energy legislation were becoming more visible by the American public. Carter sought to decrease the production and testing of nuclear technology in order to reduce an era of nuclear proliferation. In regards to specific energy legislation passed during his administration, Jimmy Carter also contributed to automobile fuel efficiency. Before Jimmy Carter was president, automobiles averaged at about 12 miles per gallon, and after Jimmy Carter's term, automobiles were about 28 miles per gallon. Congress approved the Emergency Natural Gas Act. This allowed the government to control trade of the United States and interstate natural gas. Throughout his presidency, he endorsed many substantive energy policies. Many of these policies resulted in a marginal percentage while in office, 45 to 40%. Although this percentage may not have been seen as significant decrease in oil importation, this improvement facilitated the American population reviewing their dependence on oil. Only a few years after that, the energy crisis called attention to unifying these 2 groups. The Department of Energy Organization Act of 1977, which Carter signed on August 4, 1977, created the Department of Energy, which assumed the responsibilities of the Federal Energy Administration, the Energy Research and Development Administration, the Federal Power Commission, and programs of various other agencies. The department began operations on October 1st, 1977.
Carter also administered other acts, such as the 1977 Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act. It was the primary federal law that regulates the environmental effects of coal mining in the United States. It consists of 2 programs. The first one regulates active coal mines, and the second for reclaiming abandoned coal mines. Another one of his important acts was the Antarctic Conservation Act. It was enacted in 1978, in the U.S. law that deals with the problem of environmental conservation on the continent of Antarctica. This act is enforced by the Treasury, Interior, and Commerce. It controls conservation of fishing, whaling, and sealing. It establishes rules for all U.S. citizens, U.S. corporations, and the U.S. government. Another one of his acts was the National Energy Act. The National Energy Act, created in 1978, was passed by the U.S. Congress in response to the energy crisis in the 1970s. This act allowed the U.S. to create energy-efficient programs and conservation programs.
It was in 1980 that Carter had his biggest personal triumph in lobbying Congress. Early in the year, the Superfund legislation was passed, which gave the EPA the funds and responsibility to clean up abandoned toxic waste dumps. Carter's biggest personal victory that year, however, was the passage of the Alaskan National Interest Lands Conservation Act. The act conserved more than 100 million acres and 26 rivers in Alaska.